Elara, a girl of sunshine even without the sun, lived with her stepmother, Griselda.
Griselda, a woman of sharp angles and a sharper tongue, resented Elara's inherent goodness.
The old manor they inhabited felt colder, crueler with Griselda as its mistress. Elara, despite it all, held on to hope, a single wild flower pushing through the cracks of a stone wall.
Her days were filled with endless chores, each one a burden meant to dim her light.
Griselda hoarded praise for her own daughter, Myrtle, a girl as dull as a clouded mirror. Elara, with a spirit unbroken, found solace in the whispered secrets of the wind and the quiet companionship of the forest creatures. One day a letter arrived, sealed with a crest of nobility.
Griselda, eyes gleaming with avarice, announced the arrival of a suitor for Myrtle.
Elara, naive and trusting, rejoiced for her stepsister, unaware of the viper coiled in the heart of her own home.
Griselda, seeing an opportunity, began to weave a web of lies, her words dripping with false sweetness to ensnare Elara in a cruel fate.
She spoke of grand balls and handsome princes, of a love that bloomed under a silver moon. Elara, blinded by her own good heart, believed every word.
Griselda, with a wicked gleam in her eye, spoke of a special gown hidden away in the old tower, a gown fit for a princess to meet her prince.
Elara, her heart thrumming with excitement, rushed to the tower, unaware that she was walking into a cage of her own making. Instead of a ball, Elara found herself facing a crotchety old man with eyes as dull as pewter. He was no prince, but Barlow, the gravedigger, a man as mean as he was poor, lured there by Griselda's promise of wealth.
The gown she wore, a flimsy thing of rags and moth-eaten lace, offered no comfort.
Elara, realizing the depth of Griselda's betrayal, felt a scream rise in her throat, a scream choked by the suffocating realization of her helplessness.
Forced into a hasty marriage, Elara found herself trapped in a life as bleak as a crow's shadow.
Barlow, cruel and miserly, treated her no better than a beast of burden. Griselda, her pockets lined with Barlow's meager savings, slammed the door on Elara's pleas for help, her heart as cold and unyielding as the stone walls of her manor. Elara, her spirit battered but not broken, refused to let the darkness consume her. One day, while tending to her meager garden, a single seed carried by the wind landed at her feet.
It was a sunflower seed, a beacon of hope in the desolate landscape of my life.
As she nurtured the seed, she nurtured a spark of defiance within herself. The sunflower grew tall and strong, its face turned towards the sun, just as Elara refused to let her spirit be cowed.
I began to see the world around me with new eyes. Eyes that saw not just my own misfortune, but the suffering of others.
She shared her meager meals with the birds, her kind words with the stray animals that wandered into her yard. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, the world around her began to shift. Her acts of kindness did not go unnoticed. The villagers, who had once shunned her, seeing her only as Barlow's unfortunate wife, began to see the gold in her heart.
They brought me gifts of food, seeds for my garden, and news from the outside world.
One day, a traveling merchant, drawn to the beauty of her sunflowers, stopped at her gate.
He listened, captivated, as I, my voice like a clear stream, told him my tale of woe.
The merchant, a man who believed in justice, vowed to help her. He promised to tell her story, to spread the word of Griselda's cruelty and Barlow's heartlessness. The merchant, true to his word, shared Elara's story wherever he went. The tale, carried on the winds of justice, reached the ears of the king.
Appalled by Griselda's treachery and Barlow's greed, the king ordered their immediate arrest.
He recognized the inherent goodness in Elara's heart and, touched by her resilience, offered her a place in his court. Elara, finally free from the shackles of her past, blossomed.
My laughter, like the chiming of bells, filled the palace halls.
She used her newfound position to help others, her compassion reaching out to those who had suffered as she had. And though the scars of her past remained, they no longer defined her.
I, the girl who had once been shrouded in shadow, had found my own sunshine.